Jinwoo Kim wiped the sweat from his forehead as he finished checking the metal beams in Section C of Harmony Point. The space station was huge, like a small city floating in space. Every day, he walked through its long halls, making sure the walls and floors were strong enough to keep everyone safe. He had been working here for 2 years now. Harmony Point was special. It was the only place where humans and aliens worked together peacefully. The station sat right between human space and alien territories. Ships came and went every day, bringing people from different worlds to trade and talk. Jinwoo liked his job. He was good with numbers and fixing things. When something broke, he could figure out how to make it work again. But he was not good. With people, he was quiet and shy. Most days, he talked to his tools more than he talked to other workers. That morning was different. As Jinwoo walked into the bio-adaptive section, he saw someone he had never seen before. She was tall and graceful, with skin that looked like blue glass. Silver lines ran across her arms and face like beautiful tattoos. Her eyes were large and bright, the color of deep water. She was standing next to a wall that seemed to be growing. The bio-adaptive sections were strange. They were made of living metal that could change shape and fix itself. Only a few alien races knew how to make them work. "Excuse me," the woman said in perfect English. Her voice was soft but clear. "Are you the engineer for this section?" Jinwoo stopped walking. He felt his face get hot. "Yes, I am. Is there a problem?" "I am Vera," she said, smiling. "I work with the diplomatic team we are having trouble with. The wall in meeting room 7. It keeps changing colors when we do not want it to." Jinwoo nodded. He had heard about this problem before. The bio walls sometimes react to strong emotions. When people get angry or excited, the walls feel it and change. Vera looked interested. "Can you fix it?" "I can try," Jinwoo said. He pulled out his tablet and started checking the wall's settings. "What kind of meetings happen in that room?" "Trade talks between humans and Nexians," Vera said. "My people." Jinwoo looked at her again. So she was Nexian. He had heard of them but never met one before. The Nexians were known for being very smart and very advanced. Their technology was hundreds of years ahead of human tech. "Trade talks can get very heated," Jinwoo said, still looking at his tablet. "The wall is just doing what it was made to do, but I can make it less sensitive." He worked quietly while Vera watched. After a few minutes, he looked up. "Try thinking of something calm." Vera closed her eyes. The wall slowly changed from angry red to peaceful blue. "Perfect," she said. "How did you know to do that?" Jinwoo felt proud. "I studied bio-adaptive technology. In school, most humans think it is like magic, but it follows rules just like everything else." "You are right," Vera said. "But even my people sometimes forget that." "You have an interesting way of thinking about our technology." That was the start of something Jinwoo did not expect. Over the next few weeks, Vera came to see him whenever she had problems with the bio-adaptive systems. But Jinwoo noticed that the problems were getting smaller and smaller. Soon she was just coming to talk. They talked about engineering and science. They talked about how different cultures solved problems. Vera was amazed by how humans could find simple answers to complex questions. Jinwoo was amazed by how advanced Nexian technology was. "Your people think in straight lines," Vera said one day as they sat in the station's garden. "When you see a problem, you find the shortest path to fix it. My people think in circles. We consider every possibility before we act." "Both ways work," Jinwoo said. "Maybe that is why humans and Nexians should work together more." Vera smiled. It was a beautiful smile. "I think you are right." 3 months passed like this. Jinwoo looked forward to their talks every day. He had never met anyone who understood both the technical and creative sides of engineering like Vera did. She made him feel smart and important. Then came the day of the cultural exchange ceremony. The ceremony happened once a year. Representatives from all the different races came together to celebrate peace and cooperation. Jinwoo usually avoided these events, but this year he had to attend because some of the bio-adaptive systems needed monitoring during the large gathering. The main hall was packed with beings from dozens of worlds. Humans mixed with tall, thin Voltarians and short, stocky drummers. In one corner, Nexians stood together, their blue skin glowing softly under the lights. Jinwoo was checking a wall panel when he felt someone touch his shoulder. He turned around and saw Vera. She was wearing a beautiful silver dress that matched the markings on her skin. "Jinwoo," she said quietly, "I need to tell you something important." "What is it?" he asked. Vera looked nervous, which was strange. She was always calm and confident. "I have introduced you to my family as my intended mate." Jinwoo felt like the floor had disappeared under his feet. "What?" "Among my people, when we find someone who is truly compatible, we begin the bonding process," Vera explained quickly. "I have been testing our mental compatibility for the past 3 months. Every conversation we had was also a test." "A test?" Jinwoo felt confused and a little angry. "You were testing me?" "Not testing to judge you," Vera said. "Testing to see how well our minds work together." "And Jinwoo, you scored higher than anyone in our recorded history. Higher than any Nexian who has ever taken the compatibility tests." Jinwoo stared at her. Around them, the ceremony continued, but he could not hear anything except his own heartbeat. "What does this mean?" he asked. Vera stepped closer. "It means my family wants to meet you. It means they want you to undergo the bonding trials on our homeworld. And if I say no?" Vera's expression grew sad. "Then I will respect your choice. But Jinwoo, I hope you will consider it. What we have found together is very rare. My people believe you might be special in ways you do not yet understand." Jinwoo looked into her deep blue eyes and realized his quiet life on Harmony Point was about to change forever. Jinwoo did not sleep well that night. He kept thinking about what Vera had told him. He was supposed to be special somehow, but he did not feel special. He felt scared and confused. The next morning, he went to his sister Yuna's lab on the other side of Harmony Point. Yuna was 3 years younger than him, but she was much braver. She studied alien sea life and was not afraid of anything. "You look terrible," Yuna said when she saw him. She was looking at some strange purple fish in a tank. "What happened?" Jinwoo told her everything. About Vera, about the tests, about the invitation to go to Nexus Prime. Yuna listened without saying anything, which was unusual for her. "So let me understand this," Yuna said when he finished. "An alien woman wants to marry you, and her family wants to test you first? It is more complicated than that," Jinwoo said. "Is it?" Yuna turned away from her fish tank. "Do you like her?" Jinwoo felt his face get warm. "Yes, I think so. She is smart and kind, and she makes me feel like I can do anything." "Then go," Yuna said. "What is the worst that could happen?" That afternoon, Vera came to find Jinwoo in the engineering section. She looked worried. "My family has sent a message," she said. "They want you to come to Nexus Prime in 1 week." "That is very fast," Jinwoo said. "There is something else," Vera said quietly. "The bonding trials are not just ceremonies. They are real tests that can be dangerous. In our history, 3 non-Nexians have tried to take them. None of them survived." Jinwoo felt cold. "You did not tell me that yesterday." "I was hoping my family would make an exception for you," Vera said, "but they will not. They say the trials are necessary to prove you are worthy." "Worthy of what?" "Of joining our family, of becoming part of our society." Vera paused. "Jinwoo, my family is very important on Nexus Prime. My father, Thanketh, is the planetary governor. If you pass the trials, you will not just be my mate. You will have political power." Jinwoo sat down heavily. "I am just an engineer. I fix things. I do not know anything about politics." "That might be exactly why my family wants you," Vera said. That evening, Jinwoo met with his best friend Taeyun at the station's restaurant. Taeyun was a pilot who flew supply ships between human colonies. He was loud and funny, the opposite of Jinwoo. "You are going to alien planet to maybe die in some crazy tests?" Taeyun said, eating his dinner loudly. "That sounds insane." "I know it sounds crazy," Jinwoo said. "It does not sound crazy," said a voice behind them. They turned to see Yuna sitting down at their table. It sounds like an adventure. You are not helping, Jinwoo said to his sister. Actually, I am, Yuna sighed. I talked to some of the other scientists today. They told me interesting things about Nexian bonding traditions. She pulled out her tablet and showed them the file. According to their customs, a candidate for bonding trials can bring an honor guard, family members or close friends who support them during the trials. Taeyeon looked interested. What does an honor guard do? They can help with preparation and offer moral support, Yuna read. And if the candidate dies during the trials, the honor guard has the right to demand answers from the family. That is not very comforting, Jinwoo said. The point is, you do not have to go alone, Yuna said. I volunteer to be your honor guard. Me too, Taeyeon said immediately. I have never seen an alien homeworld. This could be fun. It could also be deadly, Jinwoo reminded them. Everything worth doing is a little dangerous, Yuna said. Besides, they said no Nexians have survived the trials. But they never said how many tried. Maybe it was just 3 very stupid non-Nexians. 2 days later, Jinwoo told Vera that he would go to Nexus Prime. He also told her about Yuna and Taeyeon coming as his honor guard. That is very human, Vera said, smiling. Nexians usually face challenges alone. But I think my family will be impressed by your friend's loyalty. The next week passed quickly. Jinwoo had to arrange for other engineers to cover his work. Yuna had to pause her research projects. Taeyeon had to find someone else to fly his scheduled routes on the day they were supposed to leave, a Nexian. Ship arrived at Harmony Point. It was beautiful, shaped like a crystal flower with silver wings. Jinwoo had never seen anything like it. The ship's captain was a tall Nexian male named Commander Jorik. He was polite but formal. I am honored to transport you to Nexus Prime, he told Jinwoo. Lady Vera speaks very highly of you. The inside of the ship was even more amazing than the outside. The walls seemed to be made of living light, changing colors softly as they moved through the corridors. Their rooms were comfortable, with beds that adjusted to their bodies and windows that showed the stars streaming past. On the second day of the journey, Vera found Jinwoo standing alone in the observation deck, looking out at space. Are you nervous? She asked. Terrified, Jinwoo admitted. Why did you really choose me, Vera? You could have any Nexian male you wanted. Why a human? Vera was quiet for a long moment. Have you heard about the Battle of Kepler Station? She asked. Jinwoo nodded. Every human knew that story. 3 years ago, a small human colony was attacked by pirates. The colony had no military ships and no weapons. Everyone expected them to surrender. Instead, they used mining equipment and cargo ships to fight back. Against all odds, they won. My people studied that battle for months, Vera said. We could not understand how it was possible. The humans were outnumbered and outgunned. Logically, they should have lost, but they did not give up, Jinwoo said. Exactly. They found solutions where none should exist. They turned their weaknesses into strengths. Vera looked at him. Humans do this again and again. You solve impossible problems by refusing to accept that they are impossible. And you think I can do that? I have watched you work for 3 months, Vera said. Every time you face a problem, you find a way to fix it. You do not get discouraged. You do not give up. That is why I chose you. She paused and looked out at the stars. And because when I am with you, I feel like I can be brave too. The next morning, Commander Jorik announced that they would reach Nexus Prime in 6 hours. Jinwoo looked out the window and saw a blue and silver planet growing larger ahead of them. Soon he would meet Vera's family. Soon he would face the trials that had killed 3 others before him. But for the first time since this journey began, Jinwoo felt ready. He had his sister and his best friend with him. He had Vera believing in him. And he had something that maybe the other candidates had not had. He had the human refusal to accept defeat. Nexus Prime was the most beautiful place Jinwoo had ever seen. The cities looked like they were made of crystal and light. Tall spires reached into the purple sky. connected by bridges that seemed to float in the air. Everything glowed with soft, blue and silver light, but Jinwoo barely had time to enjoy the view. As soon as their ship landed, they were taken to the house of Kethmorin. The building was huge, like a palace made of living metal that shifted and changed as they watched. Vera's father, Thane Kethmorin, was waiting for them in a grand hall. He was tall and impressive, with silver markings that covered most of his blue skin. His eyes were sharp and intelligent. "So you are the human who scored higher than any Nexian in history," Thane said, studying Jinwoo carefully. "You do not look very special." "He is more special than he appears," Vera said firmly. Thane looked at Yuna and Taeyun. "And these are your honor guard. Interesting. Nexians do not usually bring help to the trials." "Humans do things differently," Yuna said, not backing down from his stare. "Indeed they do," Thane said. "Very well. The trials begin tomorrow at dawn. Tonight you will rest and prepare." That evening, Vera took them to their rooms in the family compound. The walls seemed to respond to their emotions, changing colors based on how they felt. "What exactly are these trials?" Taeyun asked. "There are 3 tests," Vera explained. "The first tests the mind, the second tests the body, the third tests the spirit and character." "And people have died doing these?" Yuna asked. Vera nodded sadly. "The trials are designed to push candidates to their limits. They test everything about a person." That night, Jinwoo could not sleep. He kept thinking about the 3 people who had died before him. What had they done wrong? What made them fail? The next morning, Thane led them to a circular room with no windows. In the center was a strange device that looked like a mix between a computer and a living plant. "The first trial," Thane announced. "This is the Nexian mathematical matrix. It contains a puzzle that has stumped our greatest scholars for over 300 years. You have 4 hours to solve it." Jinwoo approached the device. As soon as he touched it, symbols and numbers appeared in the air around him. They were complex equations that hurt his head to look at. Yuna and Taeyun sat in chairs against the wall, watching nervously. They could not help him with this. For the first hour, Jinwoo tried to solve the puzzle the way a Nexian would. He used logic and mathematics, trying to find patterns in the numbers. But the more he worked, the more confused he became. Then he remembered something his grandmother had taught him when he was young. She used to make traditional Korean knots, complex patterns that looked impossible but followed simple rules. Jinwoo stepped back and looked at the puzzle differently. Instead of seeing numbers, he tried to see the pattern like his grandmother's knots. Suddenly, he saw it. The equations were not just mathematics. They were a pattern like a rope twisted into a complex shape. He started working faster, treating the problem like he was untying a knot instead of solving an equation. The symbols began to move and change, following his movements. After 3 hours, there was a soft chiming sound. The device glowed bright blue, and all the symbols disappeared. Thane stared at the device in shock. "Impossible. How did you solve it?" "I stopped thinking like a mathematician and started thinking like a human," Jinwoo said. The second trial was held in the crystal caves beneath the city. The caves were beautiful but dangerous. Sharp crystal formations grew from the walls and ceiling, and the paths changed based on the candidate's emotions and fears. "The trial is simple," Thane explained. "Reach the center of the cave maze and retrieve the silver crystal. But be warned, the caves will test your deepest fears." Jinwoo entered the cave alone. At first the path was straight and easy. But as he went deeper, things began to change. The walls started showing him images of his worst fears. He saw himself failing at work, disappointing Vera, letting his sister and friend down. He saw himself dying alone and forgotten. The images were so real that he wanted to turn back. But instead of fighting the fears like he thought he should, Jinwoo did something unexpected. He accepted them. "Yes, I am afraid," he said out loud. "I am afraid of failing. I am afraid of not being good enough. But I am here anyway." The cave seemed surprised by this. The scary images flickered and changed. Instead of trying to trap him with his fears, the cave began to respond to his acceptance of them. Jinwoo used his fear of failure to make him more careful. He used his fear of disappointing others to make him try harder. Every time the cave changed. To block his path, he adapted quickly. Other candidates had probably tried to overcome their fears or ignore them. But Jinwoo embraced his fears and used them as fuel. After 2 hours, he reached the center of the cave and found the silver crystal. When he emerged, Thane and the others were waiting for him. "How?" Thane asked. "The cave is designed to trap people in their own fears." "I did not try to escape my fears," Jinwoo said. "I made them help me." Vera smiled proudly. Yuna and Taeyun cheered, but Thane looked troubled. "The final trial will be tomorrow. It is the most difficult of all." That night, Vera came to see Jinwoo in his room. "You have done better than anyone expected," she said. "But tomorrow's trial is different. It tests who you really are inside." "What do I have to do?" "I cannot tell you," Vera said. "But Jinwoo, remember this, the trial will offer you choices. Do not choose what seems logical. Choose what feels right." As Jinwoo fell asleep, he wondered what the final trial would bring. He had solved an impossible puzzle and conquered a fear-filled maze. What could be harder than that? The final trial took place in a room that Jinwoo had never seen before. It was completely empty except for a chair in the center and a strange helmet-like device hanging from the ceiling. "This is the simulation chamber," Thane explained. "You will experience a crisis scenario that tests your deepest values and character. How you respond will determine if you are worthy to join our family." Jinwoo sat in the chair and put on the helmet. Immediately, the empty room disappeared. He found himself standing on the bridge of a space station. Through the windows he could see a beautiful planet with blue oceans and green continents. But something was wrong. Red warning lights were flashing and alarms were blaring. A Nexian officer approached him. "Commander Jinwoo, we have a critical situation. The planet's fusion core is becoming unstable. It will explode in 6 hours. Jinwoo looked at the displays around him. The planet had 2 billion people on it. There were evacuation ships available, but not enough to save everyone. "How many people can we evacuate?" Jinwoo asked. "Our ships can save 800 million people," the officer said. "You must choose which cities to evacuate and which to leave behind." Jinwoo stared at the display showing the planet. This was horrible. He was being asked to decide who would live and who would die. The officer showed him different options. He could save the most populated cities and let the smaller ones die. He could save the young and leave the old. He could save the most important people and let the others perish. Each choice had logical reasons behind it. The officer explained that this was the reality of leadership sometimes. You had to make hard choices for the greater good, but Jinwoo could not accept any of the options. "There has to be another way," he said. "There is no other way," the officer insisted. "You must choose." Jinwoo studied the displays more carefully. The planet's fusion core was unstable, but it had not exploded yet. The evacuation ships were fast but not very powerful. "What if we do not evacuate the people?" Jinwoo said suddenly. "What do you mean?" "What if we stabilize the fusion core instead?" The officer looked confused. "That is impossible. The core is too unstable. Any ship that gets close enough to fix it would be destroyed." "Not any ship," Jinwoo said. "The station has powerful shields and heavy equipment. What if we ram this station into the planet's core? The impact might stabilize it." "That would destroy the station and kill everyone on it," the officer said. "Including you? How many people are on this station?" 500, Jinwoo looked at the numbers again. 500 people on the station, 2 billion on the planet. The choice was clear. "Prepare the station for atmospheric entry," Jinwoo ordered. "We are going to save everyone." "You cannot do this," the officer protested. "It is suicide." "Maybe," Jinwoo said. "But maybe it will work. And even if it does not, at least we tried to save everyone instead of choosing who lives and who dies." The simulation began to break apart around him. The planet, the ships, and the officer all flickered and disappeared. Jinwoo found himself back in the empty room with Thane staring at him. "What just happened?" Jinwoo asked. "You broke the simulation," Thane said quietly. In 300 years, no candidate has ever done that. Did I fail? Thane was quiet for a long moment. The trial was designed to test if candidates would make logical choices for the greater good. Previous candidates chose to save the most people they could and accept the losses. That sounds reasonable, Jinwoo said. It is reasonable, Thane agreed. But it is not what we needed to see. Vera entered the room with Yuna and Taeyun behind her. They all looked excited. You passed? Vera said, smiling. How? Jinwoo asked. I did not choose any of the options. That was the point, Thane said. For too long, my people have become focused on logical solutions and acceptable losses. We have forgotten how to fight for the impossible. He gestured for them to follow him to another room. This one had large windows that showed the stars outside. Jinwoo, the trials were never just about proving you worthy to marry Vera, Thane said. They were about finding someone who thinks the way our ancestors used to think. I do not understand. Thane pointed to the stars. Something is coming. Something that requires more than logic to defeat. We need someone who refuses to accept that some problems cannot be solved. Yuna stepped forward. What is coming? Thane's expression became grim. An enemy that destroyed our ancestors thousands of years ago. They are returning, and this time we need to be ready. Jinwoo looked at Vera, then at his sister and friend. His quiet life as an engineer was definitely over. Thane led them to a secure room deep inside the family compound. The walls were covered with star maps and tactical displays. Jinwoo had never seen anything like it. What I'm about to tell you must not leave this room, Thane said seriously. 15 years ago, our deep space sensors detected something moving toward our galaxy. He activated a holographic display that showed the space between galaxies. Dark shapes were moving slowly but steadily toward the spiral arm where human and Nexian space were located. We call them the Devourers, Thane continued. They destroyed our original homeworld 5,000 years ago. The Nexians who survived fled to this part of the galaxy and rebuilt our civilization. What are they? Taeyun asked. We do not know exactly, Thane said. They consume entire planets, leaving nothing behind. They are not like any life form we understand. Vera stepped closer to the display. Our ancestors fought them once and lost. Everything we know about fighting comes from those old records. But the records show that traditional tactics do not work against them, Thane said. They adapt to every strategy we try. Our computers have run millions of battle simulations. In every scenario we lose. Jinwoo studied the display. The dark shapes were still far away, but they were getting closer. When will they arrive? Our best estimates say 18 months, Thane said. Maybe less, and you think I can help? Jinwoo asked. Thane activated another display. This one showed human military victories from the past 50 years. The Battle of Kepler Station was there, along with dozens of other conflicts where humans had won against impossible odds. Humans do something my people have forgotten, Thane said. When faced with an impossible situation, you find a way to make it possible. Yuna was studying the tactical data. Your computer simulations only consider COMVNTIO strategies. What if you need unconventional ones? Exactly, Vera said. That is why we need Jinwoo. Not just as my mate, but as a strategic advisor, Thane nodded. The bonding between you and Vera would create the first formal human-Nexian family alliance. It would give you political authority to propose new strategies and access to our most advanced technology. But it means leaving Earth behind forever, Jinwoo said. Not necessarily, Thane said. We would need to bring more humans here. Your people's way of thinking could be the key to survival for both our species. Jinwoo felt overwhelmed. I am just an engineer. I fix broken things. I do not know how to fight wars. Maybe fixing things is exactly what we need, Vera said gently. Our entire approach to this problem might be broken. We need someone who can fix it. That night, Jinwoo walked in the gardens outside the compound with Yuna and Taeyun. The alien plants glowed softly in the darkness, and 2 moons hung in the purple sky. "This is crazy," Taiyun said. "They want you to help save 2 entire civilizations. It is a big responsibility," Yuna agreed. "But Jinwoo, you have always been good at solving problems that other people give up on." "Those were engineering problems," Jinwoo said. "This is war against something that destroyed an entire planet." "Is it really so different?" Yuna asked. "You look at a broken system, figure out what is wrong, and find a way to fix it. Their defense strategy is a broken system." The next morning, Vera took Jinwoo to see more of Nexus Prime's defenses. They visited orbital platforms that could destroy asteroids and shield generators that could protect entire cities. "Your technology is amazing," Jinwoo said. "Why do you think it will not work against the Devourers?" "Because our ancestors had similar technology and they still lost," Vera said. "The Devourers learn from every attack. After a while, nothing works against them." They stood on an observation deck, looking out at the space around Nexus Prime. Hundreds of ships moved between the orbital stations, practicing defensive maneuvers. "What if the problem is not the technology?" Jinwoo said suddenly. "What do you mean? Your ancestors fought the same enemy the same way for years. Of course the Devourers learned to defeat them." Jinwoo pointed at the ships outside. "They are practicing the same defensive patterns over and over. But what if instead of trying to perfect one strategy, you used a different strategy every time?" Vera looked thoughtful. "Constant adaptation instead of perfection. Humans are good at adapting quickly," Jinwoo said. "Maybe that is what you need." That evening, Thane called a meeting with the Planetary Defense Council. These were the most important military and political leaders on Nexus Prime. They were not happy about having a human at their strategy session. "With respect, Thane," said one elderly Nexian general, "this human has no military experience. Why should we listen to him?" "Because every strategy we have tried has failed in simulation," Thane said firmly. "We need new ideas." Jinwoo stood up nervously. All the important Nexians were staring at him. "I have a question. In your simulations, do you always use the same types of ships and weapons?" "Of course," the general said. "We use our best equipment. What if that is the problem?" Jinwoo said. "The Devourers expect you to use your best weapons. What if you used your worst weapons instead?" The room erupted in angry voices. The council members thought this was a stupid idea, but Thane held up his hand for silence. "Explain." "If the Devourers learn from every battle, they expect certain patterns," Jinwoo said. "But humans often win by doing unexpected things. What if you built ships that looked weak but were actually strong? What if you attacked with cargo ships instead of warships?" "That is ridiculous," the general said. "Maybe," Jinwoo said, "but your current plan is to lose. At least this way, you might surprise them." The room was quiet for a long moment. "It is worth considering," Thane said finally. "We will run new simulations based on unconventional tactics." As the meeting ended, Jinwoo realized that his decision was becoming clear. Vera's people needed help, and somehow he might be able to provide it. But first, he had one more choice to make. 2 weeks later, the first Devourer scout ships appeared at the edge of Nexion space. They were massive, dark vessels that seemed to absorb light itself. When Nexian patrol ships tried to scan them, the scouts simply vanished, moving faster than anything should be able to move. The news spread panic across Nexus Prime. The 18-month timeline had been wrong. The Devourers would arrive much sooner than expected. Jinwoo stood in the command center with Vera, watching the tactical displays. Thane and the military council were arguing loudly about defense strategies. None of them seemed to agree on anything. "How long do we have?" Jinwoo asked. "Maybe 6 months," Vera said quietly. "Maybe less." During those 2 weeks, Jinwoo had been working with Nexian engineers to design new types of ships based on human tactics. But he knew that building them would take time they did not have. Yuna approached them, carrying a data tablet. "Jinwoo, I have been analyzing the scout ship movements. There is something strange about their pattern." She showed him the display. "They are not just scouting our defenses. They are studying how we communicate with each other." What does that mean? I think they are learning our languages and our culture, Yuna said. Maybe that is how they adapt so quickly. They do not just learn our military tactics. They learn everything about us. Jinwoo studied the data. An idea was forming in his mind, but it seemed crazy even by human standards. Vera, how long does it take for your people to make major political decisions? Months or years, usually, Vera said. We consider every possibility very carefully. And how long does it take humans to make big decisions? Sometimes just minutes if we have to. Jinwoo made his choice. I accept the bonding with you, he told Vera. But not the way your family planned it. Vera looked confused. What do you mean? Jinwoo turned to address the entire command center. I propose something new. Instead of me becoming Nexian, we create a new kind of alliance. The room grew quiet as everyone stopped to listen. The Devourers are coming because they think they understand us, Jinwoo said. But what if we become something they have never seen before? What if humans and Nexians work together so closely that we become a new type of civilization? Thane approached them. What are you suggesting? Bring human families to live on Nexian worlds. Send Nexian families to live in human space. Share technology completely. Train together, fight together, think together. That would take years to organize, one of the council members said. No, it would not, Jinwoo said. Humans make decisions fast when we have to. Give me permission to contact Earth directly. I can have volunteer families here in weeks, not months, Vera smiled. You want to create something the Devourers cannot predict because it has never existed before. Exactly. A human Nexian civilization that combines your technology with our adaptability. Thane looked thoughtful. It is unprecedented. The risks are enormous. So is doing nothing, Yuna said. At least this way you have a chance. 3 days later, the first human transport. Ships arrived at Nexus Prime. Jinwoo had contacted his former colleagues from engineering school. Many of them had families and were looking for adventure. More importantly, he had contacted human military commanders who were curious about Nexian technology. Within a week, human and Nexian engineers were working side by side to build the new hybrid ships. The bonding ceremony between Jinwoo and Vera was held in the new Human Nexian Cultural Center, a building that combined human architecture with Nexian bio-adaptive technology. Representatives from both species attended. But the real work was happening in the orbital shipyards, where human and Nexian crews were building something entirely new. Ships that looked like human cargo vessels but used Nexian energy weapons. Fighters that combined human pilot instincts with Nexian computer systems. 6 months later, when the main Devourer fleet arrived, they found something they had never encountered before. The defending fleet used tactics that changed every few minutes. Human pilots flew with Nexian technology. Nexian strategists used human unpredictability. The battle lasted 3 days. When it was over, the Devourer fleet retreated, something that had never happened in their recorded history. Jinwoo and Vera stood together in the command center of the first human Nexian Strategic Academy, watching the enemy ships disappear into deep space. They will be back, Vera said. Probably. Jinwoo agreed. But next time we will be even more ready. Around them, human and Nexian officers worked side by side, planning new defenses and strategies. Yuna was leading a team that studied Devourer technology. Taeyun was training the first mixed human Nexian fighter squadrons. Do you regret your choice? Vera asked. Jinwoo looked around at the busy command center, then out at the stars where their new hybrid ships patrolled. I thought I was just going to marry an alien woman. Instead, I helped create a new kind of civilization. Is that good or bad? Jinwoo smiled and took her hand. It is definitely interesting. Outside the windows, human and Nexian ships flew, together in perfect formation, ready to face whatever came next. 2 species had become something greater than either could be alone. And somewhere in deep space, the Devourers were trying to understand what they had just encountered, finding themselves faced with something truly new for the first time in thousands of years. The age of human Nexian cooperation had begun,